All right, I'm just popping in here real quick. I haven't been doing audio, but basically, took this trade. I exited pretty early. It could probably run all the way all night. But I want to go to bed. But we did what we came here to do. Um, as far as taking the trades that we see, this one was a nice setup because if we pop over to my analysis chart, um, we're in a clear downtrend. This was a nice pullback, turn green. You want to see it turn green, um, and then we enter up here, which was nice. I set a what was it called? Oh yes, a limit order right here. I wasn't sure if it was gonna come up to it, but it did. It put us in, which was awesome. And then yeah, it just skipped on its merry little way down. It probably could have taken a little more. I think we got it right here. Um, so maybe could have taken a little more. It has the potential, because this, so where we are sitting down here, it does have the potential to continue down, but I'm happy with that. Also, I tried to enter with, because this could also just be, it could also be trying to come back up from this huge drop that we had. Like what happened here? It just dropped. Zazio, he is crunching on everything that makes noise. So if you hear weird sounds, that's what that is. Um, yeah, so uh what was I even saying? I have no idea, no clue. But yeah, my goal is to come in at 8. Well, I have my fitness class, so I wasn't here because we stayed a little later, and then I had to go to the store. So I actually missed. This was the open. Well, this is when I should have been in, and this was great because it came up here. It says retest and a bounce off. Honestly, that would have been an awesome entry right here. Um, so yeah, but we got in here, so could have scalped a little bit more, but this was the initial entry. Um, Follow the rules. Um, Set stops to break even almost immediately. The second it jumped down here, my stops were already at break even because I'm like, you know what? If it doesn't make anything, that's cool. If it doesn't lose anything, that's even better. So yeah, so our initial risk was 4 ticks. Oh, that's what I was saying. So apparently, I thought that I could trade 4 contracts. So I put in for 4 contracts and it only put me in three on Top Step. Because I think you have to have over 1,500 in your account, and it did not. So, so it only let me trade with only with 3 contracts instead of 4. So, so what, how many, oof, how much is that? Because I think so, yeah, I took profit at 10 ticks and it was $75 per tick. So I took profit at 10. Um, so if I had that extra contract, it would have been $1,000 in just that. But I couldn't do that because I didn't have enough. My balance wasn't high enough, but it'll reset. If I keep this balance, keep it here, it'll reset. So if I end up taking more trades tomorrow morning, at my 8 o'clock time, what'll end up happening is I will either do it with this account, or skip on over to my other account and trade that one instead. That's a better idea. Trade that account instead, and then kind of alternate between the two. So if one's up, don't trade that one, switch over to the next. So this one that'll be it for this one, and then we'll hop over to the next one. But yeah, that's pretty decent trade. Honestly, I feel like it could just keep going, but we have this bottom here. And this was also, if we go back here, this is also a what you want to call I almost want to say some sort of a supply. I don't know, supply or demand on the top or the bottom, I never know, but it's one of the two. So looks like we tap back into that. So I don't know if we're gonna come back down and then maybe bounce off again, or because the initial, because this is my, we're technically in a middle range because this is the um almost want to say this is like the supply or demand zone all the way down here. Um, that I drew out on the, was it the 1 hour or the 4 hour? I drew out like a huge block. Um, yeah, it looks. I think it's. I drew it out on the 4 hour because it looked a little better. Let's do 4 hours. Um, yeah, maybe if you draw this, I don't know. Yeah, but this was my one that I drew out. So technically, we're up in kind of like a middle-ish range, and the Nikkei again, it likes to trade, supply and demand, and so there's usually a top. So like if you see this is clearly a top right here. Like look at that. Keeps coming up to the same level, same level. It kind of fluctuates, but it's the same. So the Nikkei likes to trade up to the top, down to the bottom, and then it has this little choppiness in between. So if you notice, we came down to the bottom, we had a little bit of choppiness, then it comes up to the top, then comes down, choppy, and then it goes back up, and then just drops all the way down. Then you got that choppiness near the bottom, and we come all the way back up, down, choppiness kind of chopping back up to the top, but then it drops back down into this. And if you look at the Nikkei enough, it's a kind of a pattern that it likes to do. Like there's days where where it's just gonna go, or it's gonna rally, or it's just gonna drop, and then there's gonna be these choppy days. This is looking like we're in chop, but we could, because we're already near the bottom. It's more than likely we could come back down into it, and then we're gonna break away really fast and come back up, you know. So that's just what I'm seeing. So I'm not gonna hold. My plan is to scalp the Nikkei, not really like. I do want to be able to get in. Like if I'm at the bottom of something, like if I was down here, I'd want to be definitely want to be holding that long, or if you're up here, you want to hold that short as long as you can. But when you're kind of in this, you don't really want to be holding things too long because it could go this way or it could go all the way this way and you don't know. It is still dropping from where I exited, but that's okay. So this is gonna be a short stream. Usually they're pretty, oof, kind of looks like a mess, all these colors, but I like the colors. Um, but yeah, it's kind of a short stream today. Let's go here and see what this one's doing. This one's just, this is a little smoother, but yeah, it's just kind of doing not a lot. So, um, yeah, that's all we got for today. And yeah, I'm probably like most of these streams are gonna be no talking. Oh yeah, it hasn't really moved anywhere. Yeah, most of these streams are gonna be no talking, just looking at the charts. But if I take a trade, then I will definitely come in and say something about it after the fact. But yeah, unless I take a trade or I don't or something, and then once I do take a trade, that's kind of when the stream will end. So I have a 2 hour block of time. So between 8 and 10, and then between 8:30 and 10:30 a.m. And so if I don't end up taking a trade, um, it'll probably go the whole stream. But if I take a trade like in the middle, then it'll probably um like now it's only been 30 minutes. So but this is where I'll end it. Oh gosh. Yeah, I feel like there was one other thing, some other announcement. I don't have any other announcements. Sounds like I don't know. running some sort of a show over here. Not really. I just trying to trade. But we'll see. Nice little skip back down. I like how I hate how the Nikkei jumps, but I also like it. Oh, I also wanted to say, Zazia, stop barking. I also wanted to say, like when I entered this trade, and if you play it back or are watching this, when I entered this trade, it literally like there was no downside, right? It put me in, it was at zero, and then boom. There was no there was what's it called? There's no drawdown, right? There's no drawdown. There was no slippage because it was a limit order. There was nothing. It just went immediately from putting me in to profit. And that's the thing. If I can avoid being in drawdown, then I can set these to break even, and then it's either gonna go or it's just not. Like that's what happened this morning was um yeah, what happened? So yeah, this morning it was kind of a similar thing, and I guess I could have. So I was only in one contract, and so I had my risk like up here or something, and I could have left it, but it came down, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be, I put it at break even, and then I was like, yeah, if it's gonna run, it should run. So I put the profit here, because it was like 3 ticks or something, and then it came back up, bumped me out. Even if I had left it at break even, it would have taken me out, and it did end up skipping down a little bit, but this one was less of a good trade just because we had this nice rally, and so I'm like, we're gonna consolidate, and so that's what we did. Just a little bit of consolidation. So I didn't really want to sit in that either, because I don't know. I always have doubts about when I'm supposed to be trading, because it's like, when's the best time? I guess there's not a best time, a right time, wrong time. There's just whatever time you decide to trade, and it's either going to be good or bad. You never know. So, um, that's all we have for today. Trading the Nikkei, Tokyo session. Oh yeah, that's the other thing I was gonna say. The reason why 8 o'clock instead of trying to get this is because you know how like when you're trading the NQ and the NQ spikes you out and does all this weird stuff and has a bunch of wicks and all that. That's the beauty of trading the Nikkeis. You typically don't get all of that, but when you trade the Open, the Tokyo Open, or even the New York Open, it's more liable to have these wicks and kind of this weird stuff that, and I don't like dealing with that, like, oh, it spiked you out, maybe you can get back in, or maybe you should wait, because like what if I was shorting, somewhere in here, and then it spiked me out, and I'd be like, maybe I shouldn't get back in, and then you're like, why didn't I get back in, as it goes all the way down. So I just wanted to take out some of the drama of all like it moving so quickly, and so that's why I want to trade when the market's kind of settled down. Zazio, why you gotta chew your bone right here, bud? Okay, you're funny, bud. You're funny. I feel like he knows I'm recording. Now he's walking over here. Okay, Baba. Okay, I'll stop streaming. Ouch, he's scratching my leg.